What's good, fam? Teacher Eddie back with another ERB reaction. The ER Beast is back. History teacher Eddie doing Stephen Hawking versus Albert Einstein. This was voted upon by you, the viewers, in the poll. And I'm super excited for this one because I'm a huge fan of not just the two men, but also of physics in general. Which was actually my big debate when I started college was, do I want to be a history teacher or did I want to go into physics? So without further ado, let's get into it.
Albert Einstein versus Stephen Hawking!
When I apply my battle theory, minds are relatively blown, so take a seat, Steve. Oh, I see you brought your own.
Oh,
What's with your voice? I
damn.
can't freaking tell. You sound like Barney having sex for the speak and spell.
Oh my God, that is so good. Oh, Jesus. Let's break
When I
down.
apply my battle theory, minds are relatively
When I apply my battle theory, minds are relatively blown. So the double meaning here, as always in ERB, is as a rapper, right? When he's going to apply his battle theory to this battle rap, minds are going to be blown. But also the play on theory and relativity, which is Einstein's theory of relativity, which is probably what he's best known for. In the layman world, everybody knows the theory of relativity, E equals MC squared.
blown, so take a seat, Steve. Oh,
Oof, that was... Take a seat, Steve. Oops, I see you bought your own. So Stephen Hawking suffered from ALS, and he was given something like 2 years to live, and he ended up living for, well over 50 years after that. So Stephen Hawking was absolutely a legend, resilient, and just an amazing man, but he was confined to his wheelchair because with ALS, he couldn't move a muscle, and that's why he had to talk through a computer and all that stuff. But yeah, a lot of the work that Hawking did was based on Einstein. And of course, again, Einstein's theory of relativity. Einstein was so dedicated to that theory of relativity, though, he ended up marrying his own cousin. So even his marriage was relative.
I see you brought your own. What's with your voice? I can't freaking tell. You sound like Barney having sex for the speak and spell.
Yeah, so Hawking most famously had to talk through a computer. So he had a very mechanized voice. And he's saying he sounded like Wall-E from the Pixar movie, having sex with a speak and spell, which is a kid's toy that also has a very robotic voice.
I'll school you anywhere, MIT to Oxford. Or your fans will be like, that was Harvard.
Oh, man. So MIT and Oxford are two schools that are closely associated with Hawking. So Einstein is saying here, like, no matter where, man, no matter where you want to meet up, I'm going to school you everywhere, whether it's MIT or Oxford. And of course, saying that he's going to school him. And that was Hawkward, which is a play, of course, on Stephen Hawking and Awkward.
I'm as dope as two rappers. You better be scared, because that means Albert E equals MC squared.
Ooh, that was a good line. Wow, that better be, you better be scared.
Because that means Albert E equals MC.
That means Albert E, of course, the play on his name, Einstein using the initial, Albert E equals MC squared. So this is a deep one, man. So he's saying he's better than any two rappers. And that means that Albert E equals MC squared. So squared being something, multiplying something against itself, but also the MC part, right? So in a rap battle, rappers are known as MCs, and he's using that along with his mass and speed of light, part of his equation. The M stands for mass, the C stands for the speed of light. So energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. That is a dope ass line. That is so, so good.
C squared! You got no idea what you're messing with here, boy.
Damn! This is the old... Okay. I am not a fan of auto-tune, but if ever auto-tune was appropriate for a situation, it's this. Oh, wow.
Be scared, cause that means Albert E equals
MC squared!
You got no idea what you're messing with here, boy.
Ooh, and that's such a dope flow, dude. You got no idea what you're messing with here, boy. Oh, that is such a good flow, too. So he's saying, man, you don't even know what you're messing here with.
Hey, I got 12-inch rims on my chair, that's how I roll, y'all. You look like someone glued a mustache on a troll doll.
Oh my God, that flow is insane. That may be the best flow I've heard in any of the 30-something ERBs I've done. Stephen Hawking can't move a muscle, but he knows how to drop a dope-ass rhyme and flow, man. Wow, I got 12-inch rims on my chair.
On my chair, that's how I roll, y'all.
That's how I roll, y'all. Obviously referencing his wheelchair, but he's also spinning them rims.
You look like someone glued a mustache on a troll doll. I'll be stretching out the rhyme like gravity stretches time when you try to put your little pea brain against this kind of mind. On the best, on the Snoop Dogg.
Whoa! Holy shnikes. Yo, Stephen Hawking pulling out. I thought the E equals MC squared line at the end of Albert's first verse was dope. But what Stephen Hawking just did, let me break this down because this is just nerdgasms right now.
12-inch rims on my chair, that's how I roll, y'all. You look like someone glued a mustache on.
Yeah, so you look like someone glued a mustache on a troll doll. So if you don't know what a troll doll is, troll dolls were even popular when I was like a teenager. There's these little dolls with like crazy hair, and Einstein was known for having like really crazy hair. So he's saying it looks like somebody glued a mustache on a troll doll.
I'll be stretching out the rhyme like gravity.
I'll be stretching out the rhyme like gravity stretches time. So this is an amazing line. So in Einstein's general theory of relativity, the more that gravity was acting upon an object, or the higher the speed that an object would travel at, Einstein theorized the slower time would go. So he's saying, I'm going to stretch out time like gravity stretches out. So here Hawking is basically saying he can rap like, he can rap like mad slow and stretch it out as much as he wants. And Einstein still ain't going to be able to catch up with it. But then the next line is even doper.
Stretches time when you try to put your little pea brain against this kind of mind.
When you try to put, and they spelled it specifically,
Stretches time
when you try to put your little pea brain. So again, double meaning, right? So if somebody is a pea-brained person, they're trying to say that their brains are so small that they can't, hold any type of thought, and basically you're a dummy. Interestingly enough, when they did examine Einstein's brain after his death, his brain was below average in size, which also kind of went to prove that the size of your brain really doesn't correlate to any sort of intelligence. But with how they spell P-brain, so that is basically a mathematical concept that appears in string theory and other theories related to string theory, which is something that Hawking extensively studied in his career, as well as, again, having, a tiny brain, which is what he's saying. So that is a deep, deep line, man.
your little pea brain against this kind of mind. On the best, on the Snoop Dogg science, I'll be dropping mad apples on your head from the shoulders of giants. Giant whose shoulders.
Oh, wow. And that's a great, so he's saying he's the Snoop Dogg of science, which I can't disagree, man. He's dropping the heat right now. But then the next line he
I'll be
says,
dropping mad apples on your head from the shoulder.
I'll be dropping mad apples from your head from the shoulders of giants. So again, apples obviously are correlated and symbolized with gravity because of Isaac Newton, or Sir Isaac Newton, who studied gravity after, being hit in the head with the apple. And from the shoulders of giants it's a term that means to take work from, other geniuses who came before you. And it also has the meaning because it refers to one of Stephen Hawking's books, which was called On the Shoulders of Giants. So he's saying he's going to be dropping mad apples on his head, which is, he's going to be dropping knowledge like gravity, which both obviously studied very closely. And then the shoulders of giants. That's, man, they both so far, their first verses are both like hot.
I'm the giant whose shoulders you'd have stood on if you could stand. I'll give you a brief history of pain with the back of my hand. You can't destroy matter.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn.
Apples on your head from the shoulders.
I'm the giant whose shoulders you'd have stood on if you could stand.
Yeah, so that is true. Einstein was one of the biggest influences, and again, building upon the shoulders of giants. Obviously, Einstein is like a rock star. He's a god in the science world, so a lot of people have stood upon the shoulders of Einstein's work. Einstein's going back to the well, though, with the whole if you can stand thing, because he already mentioned that when he said, take a seat. Oh, you already have. So, just keeping on going back to the disability, that's a little much. But
Stand. I'll give you a brief history.
I'll give you a brief history of pain. So this is a reference to one of Stephen Hawking's probably most well-known books, and a book that I recommend everybody should read because it is one of the best books, even if you're not interested in science. But A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking. But he's saying a brief history of pain.
History of pain with the back of my hand.
With the back of my hand. So he's saying he's going to basically pimp slap him and give him a brief history of some pain. He's a method man. He's like, I came to bring the pain hardcore from the brain.
You can't destroy matter or me. For serious. Ripping holes in you bigger than the hole in your black hole theory was.
Ooh, he went there. He went there. All right. This is something, this again, man, nerdgasms right now. Nerdgasms. So you can't destroy matter or me, right? So based on the law of the conservation of mass, matter cannot be destroyed, right? And Einstein is saying, and neither can I, right? So just like matter, I can't be destroyed either. So even like if you take, a solid, like say you take an ice cube, yes, the ice cube will turn into water, right? The matter is just changing states. That water will then evaporate if you leave it out in the heat. So it turns into a gas, right? But the matter itself can never be destroyed. But then he said, what did he say here?
For serious. Ripping holes in you bigger than the hole in your black hole theory.
Ripping holes in you bigger than the holes in your black hole theory was. So this was a big, big deal. So Einstein and Hawking both had theories on black holes. So Hawking's black hole theory that he had was eventually years and years and years after was proven, well, it was almost immediately proven false, but years and years later, Hawking admitted that his theory was flawed. So say, for example, Einstein theorized that if an object entered a black hole, that it would enter at the event horizon, which is kind of like the final crossing point at the black hole, right? It's called the event horizon. And it's basically like the point of no return, right? Once you hit the event horizon, that's it. And then once it passed the event horizon, the object, the matter, would be torn apart, right? Then in the 70s, Hawking said that it was possible for an object to actually escape a black hole through what was then known as Hawking radiation. Okay, so obviously he named it after himself. But he theorized that the object would be scrambled, and once it came out on the other side of whatever's on the other side of a black hole, it would be impossible to determine what the object originally was, right? So eventually it was proven that it just didn't hold any weight. It was proven by other scientists through peer review. That's why it's always called a theory. Like the theory of relativity and the theory of, Hawking radiation and all that stuff. So it was proven to be false, and because there were a lot of holes in his theory. And Einstein is saying here, I'm gonna rip holes in you, just like those black hole theory holes you had. So that is just such a deep line, right? Sorry for the big explanation, but that's what you're here for, right? You're not just here for me to say, oh man, that was a dope line, and not explain why. Oh shit.
Million particles in the universe that we can observe. Your mama took the ugly ones and put them into one nerd.
Oh, Stephen Hawking, man. Oh shit. Oh, Stephen Hawking. Oh, Stephen Hawking. Woo!
Million particles in the universe.
Again, Hawking's flow with the auto-tune is just so dope. But the research that these guys do for the ERBs is just so phenomenal. It's just like these little fine points. So by him saying 10 million, that's actually how Hawking wrote in his books. So when he would talk about large numbers, he wouldn't use like square roots. He would literally just repeat millions, million. So it's so authentic to Hawking's writing, which is amazing. But he's saying there are, an infinite number of particles in the universe. But then he makes a yo mama joke.
Your mama took the ugly ones and put them in.
That was so good. And I love the smirk. The smirk is so good. The smirk on Hawking. He's like, man, but he did a yo mama joke. But your mama took the particles and put them into one nerd. Oh my God.
You wanna bring the heat with the mushroom clouds you're making. I'm about to pick raps from scratch like Carl Sagan. And while it's true that my work is based on you, I'm a supercomputer, you're like a TI-82.
Oh, damn. Oh, Carl Sagan. Oh, I'm so happy Carl Sagan makes an appearance here. I grew up with Carl Sagan as a child of the 70s and 80s. I mean, Carl Sagan was everything. I am a huge fan of Neil deGrasse Tyson because I feel he's not exactly on the level of a Carl Sagan, because it's so hard to explain how impactful Carl Sagan was to teaching, the youth of not just America, but the world about science and making it fun. Neil deGrasse Tyson, though, I mean, he's a reasonable facsimile, so to speak. But yeah.
Took the ugly ones and put them into one nerd. You wanna bring the heat with the mushroom clouds.
So you want to bring the heat, so that's, again, in an MC battle, in a rap battle, right? You talking about, I'm gonna bring the heat, man. I'm gonna bring the heat with these rhymes. I'm gonna bring the heat with these disses. But he's also referring to the heat that comes from the mushroom clouds you're making, right? Because Einstein was involved in the development of the atomic bomb. with the Manhattan Project, which eventually the bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki to end World War II in the Pacific. And the bombs created mushroom clouds, right? An intense heat.
I'm about to big raps from scratch like Carl Sagan.
So let me explain this line. So I'm about to bake raps from scratch. So basically what Hawking is saying on the rap side of things is he's going to start freestyling, right? He's just going to make up these raps from scratch. But Carl Sagan had what is it, motto or like a famous thing he would say, like a quote. He used to say, if you want to make an apple pie from scratch, first you have to create the universe, right? So it's a reference to Carl Sagan's line, and also saying that he could destroy Einstein by just freestyling from scratch, right?
And while it's true that my work is based on you, I'm a supercomputer, you're like a TI-82.
Ooh, who's next? Damn, that's a tough one. But let me explain that last line, as even though I teach history, I am familiar with. Hawking is saying he's like a supercomputer, right? He's like the T10,000. But while Einstein is more like a calculator, the TI-82 is one of those calculators that's used in algebra classes, like a scientific calculator. So he's saying you're like a calculator, I'm a supercomputer, right? But who won? I don't know, man. That's a tough one. That is a tough one to pick a winner on. Oh, boy. I got to go with Hawking. I would have picked Einstein in the beginning, so I'm going to take the L. But I got to pick Hawking just for flow, and his lines hit hard. Though Albert's line at the end of his first verse, the E equals MC squared one, that was chef's kiss. But Hawking just had the amazing lines. The P-brain line, the 10 million, but your mama chose in particles and put them in one nerd. That's such a great line. Yeah, I got to give it to Hawking, man. Hawking definitely wins this one. And as always, thank you guys for the support. Thank you for watching. I'll put up more polls as far as what other ERBs I should do next. But just letting everyone know, because everybody's like, man, I can't believe you haven't done this one yet. I'll get to it. I promised I'm going to do every single ERB. But just like a lot of you suggested, I'm trying to get through the season 1 ones because I haven't done a lot of them yet. I think I've only done 3 so far, or 4. Because as many of you suggested, I shouldn't end it on season 1 ERBs, because I want to end it like on a high note, right? So that's the reason I'm trying to get through these season 1 ones. But either case, please, if you can, support the show. Help me keep things running. It's been a rough month. That's why I haven't been putting out as many videos as I normally do. And YouTube let me know as well. They're like, yo, man, you put out half the videos you usually do. But money's tight, so I got to do stuff that actually brings me money. But again, I'm not asking, give what you can, if you can. If not, doesn't matter. I still love y'all anyways. And as always, going to shout out the Patreons, the ones that are left, because apparently I lost 20 Patreons last month. But still, love for everybody who does support and help out. I've been Teacher Eddie, and I'll catch you in the next one. Fam! And thank you to all the Patreon supporting Teacher Eddies, starting with the Chancellors: Elena G, Caleb, Laura, Phoenix, Blue Tech, Nazvanyu, Douglas, the Principals, Aaron Shepard, Spacey Doodle, Clement, Vijandra, Allen, Alex, King Panda, Freeman, Moody Kakari, Nathan, Chad, Chris, The Boggle, Sophia, Robin, Lord Gandalf, Luna, and Moderately Upset Bro. I've been Teacher Eddie, and I'll see you next time.